Hi, I'm Jimmy Chang, and we're here to talk about how to graph a function with a denominator. Now, whenever you have a function with a denominator, you're looking at what's known as a rational function, more often than not. And a rational function involves having polynomials in the both numerator and denominator. So there's a couple of things that you generally want to keep in mind when it comes to graphing one of those. Now, first, you want to address and find if there are any vertical asymptotes. Now, vertical asymptotes can be found by setting the denominator equal to 0, but making sure that the values that you get make only the denominator 0. Values that make the numerator 0 don't really count. Now, from there, you want to find any horizontal asymptotes. Now, horizontal asymptotes, you compare the degrees between the numerator and denominator, and there's some criteria to determine what that might happen to be. And number 3, sometimes you may need to find if there's an oblique or slant asymptote. Now, this can only happen when the numerator's degree is 1 higher than the denominator's degree. And what that means here is only one of these can exist if it exists at all. So you can have a horizontal asymptote or an oblique asymptote, but you cannot have both, and sometimes you may not have either one. And then lastly, you can make a chart and go from there. Now, keeping in mind, of course, what the dividing lines are going to be. So, for example, if you have a function, f of x is equal to x plus 1 over x, the vertical asymptote is going to equal to x equals to 0. The horizontal asymptote is going to be y is equal to 1. And in terms of your xy table, because you know you cannot plug in 0, you want to think about plugging in maybe some negative values and then plugging in some positive x values. So negative x values and some positive x values, and then go from there, understanding what your dividing lines are. So I'm Jimmy Chang, and these are some strategies on how to graph a function with a denominator.